11 million bits. That's how many bits of information enters the human mind on average every second of the day. 11 million. Between our 5 senses of sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste, there's 11 million bits of information coming into our subconscious mind on average every second. So out of those 11 million, how many can we actually process through our conscious mind? Between 40 and 60. That's it. Between 40 and 60 every second is the actual amount of information that our conscious mind can bring in and process. So that begs a lot of questions, like what happens to the information that doesn't get let in? How does our mind determine what information comes in and what information has to stay out? And how can we use this to our advantage to shape our lives? I'm here to tell you that understanding this principle and this concept can be one of the most foundational, life-changing things that you will learn. And we're going to talk about how that happens right after this. All right, guys, so we've got 11 million pieces of information coming into the human mind every second between what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we touch, what we taste, and we can process 40 to 60 of those. So that's a lot of information that we're missing out on, and so you've got to ask yourselves, how do we determine what information we actually process, and how do we determine what information just passes through and gets left behind? So it all starts with a little bundle of neurons at the base of your brainstem that's about the size of your pinky. So it's around 2 inches long and it's about the diameter of a pencil. And it's called your Reticular Activating System, your RAS. And so what this system does is it acts as a filter. And so it's filtering through all of those 11 million bits of information that are coming in, and it's giving you the 40 to 60 that you can actually process in your conscious mind when it deems it necessary. So how does it determine what information comes in and what information stays out? So I'm going to give an analogy that I came up with that I hope kind of paints the picture. So picture a club that you own, and you've got a bouncer that's at the front door, and you've given instructions to the bouncer, and you've told them what kind of people you want to let in and what kind of people you don't want to let in. And so when people come up to the door, the bouncer is there, and the bouncer's looking at the people, these bits of information, and it's determining that certain people meet the criteria of those that you want to let in and certain people don't. So the ones that meet those criteria come in and the ones that don't stay out. Now, another thing that happens is the bits of information that come in, when they come into your conscious mind, they create reactions, right? When we perceive stimulus, bits of information all bundled together, certain things happen. They can make us happy, they can make us sad, they can make us angry. And so that's kind of like the DJ that's inside the club. And so the DJ has certain playlists that he plays based on who comes in. So someone comes in, they look like they like house music and techno music, and he plays that. Someone comes in wearing cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, and he puts on that playlist. And so that's kind of what's happening in our mind. Is our reticular activating system is acting as this bouncer, and we've given it instructions, and we're going to go into how we give it those instructions, but we've given it instructions. And so it's looking at all of the information that's coming in, and it's filtering out the information that we don't want, and it's giving us the information that we do. And once that information makes it into our conscious mind, our neuromodulators, different neurochemicals, things like serotonin, dopamine, epinephrine, acetylcholine, those are the DJ, and that's playing a playlist. And so this combination of different neurochemicals that we have are going to give us a certain reaction. It could be serotonin that's making us happy. It could be dopamine that's giving us desire. It could be acetylcholine that's making us focus. It could be any number of combinations of chemicals that it's using to give us a certain response to the stimulus or these bundles of bits of information that are coming in. So why is this so important? So one of the most common examples that you hear about how the reticular activating system works relates to buying a new car. So you've decided that you want to buy a new car, and let's say you decide that you want a black Tesla Model X. That's the car that you want. So you've done your research, you've looked at all the pictures and all the specs, you know everything about it, and you're driving around in whatever car you have now, and all of a sudden you start seeing black Tesla Model X's everywhere, right? Did they just appear out of nowhere? Well, no, those cars were always there, but because you gave your mind a certain set of instructions that something was important to you, it's now allowing that information through. The reticular activating system is queuing up that information, it's presenting it to you, so now you're seeing these things that are out there that have always been there, but now you're cued into it. And so while I think that's a good example I don't think it does a good enough job of painting the picture of why this is so important and how you can use it to literally shape your reality. So I want to give you a different example. So you save up the money and you buy this black Tesla Model X, and now you're driving around town, and your wife is in the passenger seat, and you are as happy as can be. However, you happen to have this belief that all of the drivers in your city are rude, bad drivers, they're inconsiderate, and their sole purpose is to make you late and to inconvenience you. Now, if you live in Southwest Florida like I do, you're probably right. But guess what? As you're driving around, what are you going to mostly see? You're going to see drivers that are rude, that are inconsiderate, that are bad drivers, and whose sole purpose is to inconvenience you, right? You have a certain belief, and you're going to find that belief. Now, your wife, who's literally sitting 2 feet away from you, same car, same road, same drivers, she has the belief that most of the drivers in your city are kind, considerate, helpful, and there to let you in when you want to get in, let you over when you want to get over, help you merge, all of those things. Again, you're in the same car, on the same road, at the same time with the same drivers, but guess what your wife sees? She sees drivers who are kind, who are considerate, who are there to help you and to let you in. How does that happen? The reticular activating system is kicking in, right? You each have a different set of beliefs, and therefore you're going to see different things based on your beliefs, because the way the reticular activating system works is this. It's all based on our beliefs and desires and things that are important to us. And so when we have a belief about something or something is important to us, our reticular activating system acts like a detective, and it goes out and it hunts for information and data and all these bits of information that will support the belief that we have and that will reaffirm the thing that's important to us. So you've got this little detective working overtime. And what's really crazy is that if you have a belief and you don't already have data to support that, your reticular activating system is going to be working overtime to try to find the data and find the information and find the facts that are going to prove you right, that are going to fill in that gap. Your reticular activating system does not like a void. It doesn't like to have a belief and not have data to support the belief. So it will find data in those 11 million bits every second that are coming in that will support the belief that you have to fill in that gap. Why is this so important? So it's important because you can literally shape the reality that you see based on the things that you believe and based on what's important to you. I want to give you another example. So Google and YouTube, right? We all talk about the algorithm. There's the Google algorithm, there's the YouTube algorithm. And so what that algorithm is trying to do is it's trying to show you things that it thinks you're gonna like based on other things that it knows you do like, based on what you've looked at in the past, based on your search history, based on websites you've gone to. It's gonna give you results that are specifically for you that it thinks will reaffirm the things that you already believe, because that's going to keep you on those websites, on those videos even longer. So I want you to do something. The next time you're with a friend, log into your YouTube account on your phone, log into your friend's YouTube account and search for something. And look at the search results. Search for the exact same thing at the exact same time. You're probably going to get very different results unless you guys happen to have all the same search history and all the same beliefs and all of the same interests and hobbies. I'd be willing to bet that you're going to have different search results than a person right next to you searching for the exact same thing at the exact same time. Well, why is that? Well, the YouTube algorithm or the Google algorithm or any of these algorithms are trying to function like your reticular activating system. They want to show you more of what you already believe and more of what you already like. And so the results that we see in the real world are very similar, right? You can be right next to another person living the exact same time in the exact same space and see two very different things. If you've ever been in a conversation with someone, you've met someone, and you don't agree on much at all, you probably hardly agree on anything, and you're looking at this person and maybe you're having an argument about something and you're presenting facts, and to you it is clear as day the evidence that supports your facts, and you present it to them, and it's right in front of you. You present this data to them and they just literally don't see it. They refuse to acknowledge the data that's right there. And you say to yourself, it's almost like this person is living in a different world. Well, guess what? They are. We're all living in a different world. We're living in the world that we have constructed based on the beliefs that we have, based on the things that are important to us, and based on the information, those 40 to 60 bits of information that make it through our subconscious into our conscious mind every second. That is how we see the world. It's kind of crazy, right? How can you use this to your advantage? So I'm gonna give you an example from my personal life. And again, essentially what I'm saying is that you get to choose what you see. You get to control what this filter allows in and what this filter blocks out by what it is you believe, by what it is that's important to you, by what it is that you've let through in the past without stopping it. And so for me personally, I consider myself to be one of the most positive, optimistic people that I have ever met. And I have gotten that way overall, and I didn't always used to be that way. I used to actually be fairly negative and pessimistic. And when I learned about this concept of sort of manifesting your own reality based on the beliefs that you have, I decided that negativity was not something I would allow into my life in any form, any fashion. And so I don't. And so I don't allow negativity in conversations. I don't read negative things. I don't watch negative things. I don't listen to negative things. I literally shun negativity like the plague because I view it as a cancer. I view negativity as a cancer that will come into my body and slowly kill me and destroy my quality of life. And so I avoid it at all costs. And so because I do that, because I believe so heavily that negativity is toxic, my filter, my reticular activating system, is not set up to allow that stuff in. So in the negative world that we live in, I literally just don't see most of it. It just never makes it through the filter. And so what's crazy is that every once in a while I end up in a conversation with a person who, it's a person that's maybe a stranger, it's a first interaction, I don't know anything about them. And if that person happens to be a very negative, pessimistic person, it is physically jarring for me. It's like touching a hot oven where it's like, whoa, because it's so foreign to me, all the negativity that's coming out of this person's mouth, that it's a shock to my system. And I can't avoid it because it's being forced on me. And so it will shock you when this information comes in that normally is not allowed into your reticular activating system, that doesn't normally make it through the filter. And you can do this with so many things. And so we all have these self-limiting beliefs. And what these self-limiting beliefs are, they're just beliefs that we have that in some way are holding us back because it's affecting the information that's making it through this filter. And so what's so cool is you get to determine what makes it through this filter. Now, this is not easy. This takes a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of self-reflection, because at the end of the day, most of us don't realize that we have this filter. And that's why I say it's so important. And this can be one of the most fundamentally life-changing things that you ever learn if you're willing to put in the time, put in the effort, and make the changes to this filter that you have, to where you're filtering out the information that is not good for you, that does not serve you, and you're only allowing in information that does help you and that does serve you and that does further what you're trying to do. And so I really want to encourage you to focus on your thoughts. Think about what you're thinking about. Again, this takes a lot of effort. Think about what you're thinking about and catch yourself. And so there's a couple things that you can do to improve your filter, right? To change your filter. Because again, this is a long-term process, but it is a process that if you go through, I am telling you, it will fundamentally change your life on almost every level. I want to give you another example. My wife and I think we have a phenomenal marriage. We love each other deeply. We very rarely fight, argue, bicker. There's no drama in our lives. And I think one of the things that stems from, there's a saying that we both say to each other very, very frequently, and that is, can you believe how lucky we are that we found each other? Can you believe how lucky we are that we found each other? And I'm not kidding. We say this to each other every single day, if not multiple times a day. Something happens, and we say, can you believe how lucky we are that we found each other? So guess what? That's our filter, right? That's in our reticular activating system. And so guess what our reticular activating system is doing for us on a daily basis? It is hunting for evidence that supports the fact that we're so lucky we found each other. It works. It's not a game, it's not a ploy. We truly believe that. That's a core belief that we have. But because we have that belief, our filter is only letting in the things that support the belief that we have, which is that we're extraordinarily lucky to have found each other. And so think about how you could use that in your life, in your relationship, in the way you think about money, in the way you think about your job, in the way you think about your health. When you change the beliefs that you have and you change the things that are important to you, you change the information that's allowed in. And now out of those 11 million bits, those bits of information that support those new beliefs that you have, you're going to start to see them a lot more often. And eventually you get to the point where you've completely reset that filter and now you're only bringing in this information that serves you, this information that supports these new beliefs. So how can you develop these new beliefs? How can you change the filter? There's a couple things. And the first thing I would suggest is to practice gratitude. Often, often, often. Gratitude is probably one of the most important things for shaping and reshaping your reticular activating system. You see, it's hard to focus on negative things while you're being grateful, right? They have a very difficult time existing in the same sphere. And so if you spend a lot of your time focusing on all the things that you have and all the things that you're grateful for and how positive things are, you will start to see more things that you can be grateful for. So I would say every morning, get up and write down a list of 10 things that you're grateful for. And at first, depending on where your mindset's at now, that may be difficult. But if you do that every single day, eventually you're going to get to the point where you don't even stop at 10. You could name 100. You could name 1,000 things that you're grateful for. You can be grateful for your health, for the fact that you can see, that you can hear, that you can taste, that you can walk, that you can love, that you can converse with other people, that you can go to your job. Whether or not you like your job, you're grateful you have one and that you can go to it and perform well. And so that's one way. Practice gratitude frequently. Write down things that you are grateful for and review them frequently. Another thing that you can do is practice meditation and visualization. And so again, when we talk about why the reticular activating system works the way it does with that new car that you want, well, it's because you visualize that new car, right? When we decide we want this, we envision ourselves driving around town in this black Tesla Model X, and now we start seeing them everywhere. It's because we visualize that. We have brought that information in at a deep level to our reticular activating system. And the funny thing is our mind doesn't really do a very good job of differentiating these visualizations from things that actually happens. And so you can, in a sense, convince yourself you already have this, and that's going to make it even more real and even more powerful. So another thing that you can do is affirmations, and this kind of goes hand in hand. It's a little bit of a mix between visualization and gratitude, and that is affirmations that you tell yourself, either silently or out loud, that are positive things about you, right? That you're confident, that you have an easy time making money, that you have an easy time making friends, that you don't allow drama in your life, that the things that you see are there to serve you, and that things happen for you and not to you. These are all things that you can tell yourself. And there's, if you get on YouTube right now, you can find plenty of playlists of positive affirmations that you can repeat. And again, as you're bringing all of this information in repetitively into your mind, your reticular activating system is changing. Your filter is changing. It's changing what its perception of what's important to you is. It's changing what it sees your beliefs as. And so it's going to start to feed you more information that acts as evidence to prove that you are right. Guys, I hope you see the power here. I will probably do more videos on this because I truly believe that people who understand this concept and implement it on a daily basis will absolutely change their life massively for the good. But again, you can use this either way. This can be used for good, it can be used for bad, right? Just, you have to know what your beliefs are, and you have to understand what your beliefs are and take inventory of them. Figure out what beliefs you have that are serving you and what beliefs you have that aren't serving you, and start to replace those beliefs that you have that are not serving you with ones that will. And over time, that filter, that reticular activating system will change, and it will mold, and it will start feeding you more information, more data, more bits of information that support those positive beliefs that you have, and you will see massive positive changes in your life. Guys, please, please, please put this to practice. Try this. If this is new to you, start with gratitude, start with visualization, start with affirmations, start somewhere. But the first step is understanding how it works, understanding how powerful it is, and understanding that you have the power to change this and control this. The life that you live is up to you. The way you see the world is up to you. Do you want to see it positively? Do you want to see it negatively? The choice is yours, but I'm here for you. I love you. I hope this message finds you well, and I'll see you on the next one.